Hallo und willkommen bei Deutsch lernen mit Saskia. My name is Saskia, and today we will learn how to ask questions in German. So to make questions in German, we have two options. We can use a question word or we can formulate a question without question word. Today we will look at the questions without question word first, and I'm going to make another video about using question words. So in my last video, I already explained the basic sentence structure of a German sentence. So go check this out if you haven't watched it, because we will need this structure also for the questions for today. So the basic sentence structure in German is subject, verb, object, right? So we always have the one who is doing something first, the subject, then we have the verb, and then we have the object, so the one to whom something is done to. For example, the sentence Ich lese das Buch. So I read the book, just like in English. Ich lese das Buch. So we have ich, which is the subject. Then we have lese. So what am I doing? The verb. Ich lese. I am reading or I'm reading. And what's the object? Das Buch. So the book. Ich lese das Buch, just like in English. This is our basic sentence structure that we have. And starting from here, we can very easily formulate a question. And we do this by simply changing the position of the subject and the position of the verb. So this way, our sentence, Ich lese das Buch, becomes lese ich das Buch. And automatically, it is a question. So you see, questions are very, very easy in German. So our sentence structure for questions in German is verb, subject, object. So we just switch those two around and we get a question automatically. So lese ich das Buch? Do I read the book or am I reading the book? As a question. Let's look at another example. So we have du isst die Pizza. So you eat the pizza or you are eating the pizza. And to make a question, we just take the subject and the verb and we just switch them around. So we get isst du die Pizza. So from du isst die Pizza, we will just make isst du die Pizza and switch those two around. And automatically it means do you eat the pizza as a question. So isst du die Pizza? Then let's look at another example. So we have here ich gehe in das Haus, which means I go in the house or I go into the house. I go in the house. And so when we want to make a question here, what do? We just switch around the subject, which is ich, I, and the verb, which is gehe, I go. So we just switch around those two. We just move the subject and the verb and we get gehe ich in das Haus as a question. So do I go into the house or do I go in the house? Or am I going in the house? So gehe ich in das Haus? This is our question here. Or the sentence er ist der Junge, which means he is the boy. Er ist der Junge. So how do we make a question? Yeah, we just switch around the verb and the subject. So er ist our subject and verb, and we just switch those two around and we get ist er der Junge, which means is he the boy? So this is how we make a question. So when we want to make a question out of a sentence or out of a basic sentence that we have here, we simply change the structure into verb, subject, object. So we just switch around the verb and the subject, and we automatically have a question. Like for example, isst du Pizza or isst du die Pizza? And we have are you eating the pizza? So that's everything for how to make easy questions. It's very simple actually. But still, let's look at some exercises to see if you understood everything. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So the first one here we have du bist Laura, which means you are Laura. So you are Laura. Du bist Laura. And how would you make a question out of this sentence? Yes. So we would simply change the structure of the subject and the verb. So du bist, which is our subject and our verb, we would switch them around and everything stays the same, only those two words change. So we ask, bist du Laura? To ask for, are you Laura? So we don't want to say you are Laura, but we want to say, are you Laura? So du bist Laura is, is getting into bist du Laura as a question, are you Laura? Bist du Laura? Okay, then the next question. Das ist Brot. So this is bread. How would we make a question here? Yes, so we just switch those two around and we say, ist das Brot? To ask whether this is bread. So is this bread? Ist das Brot? Perfect. Then the next sentence we have, du hast das Buch, which means you have the book. So how would we make a sentence, a question here? A sentence we already have. How do we make a question? Yeah, so we just switch around du hast, which means you have. So we have the subject and the verb. We just switch those two around and we get hast du das Buch as a question. Do you have the book? Hast du das Buch? And then the last sentence that we have here, das ist das Haus. So this is the house. This is the house. And how would we make a question here? Yeah, so we would just switch those two around. And yes, we have two times das directly behind here. So we say, ist das das Haus? So ist das das Haus? In order to ask, is this the house? So ist das das Haus? And this is how we would ask questions in German. Perfect. So as easy as this, we ask questions. I hope you found this video on questions in German helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. See you next time. Tschüss.